Hello viewers, welcome to this tutorial. Now in this we'll be learning about the print function and data types in Python. Okay, so we're just going to start through. Now if you're using a different IDE, maybe using Sublime Text or using Visual Studio, no problem. Just learn how to master and navigate through the software you're using, but the codes will be the same. Even if you're using a different operating system, no problem, the codes will eventually be the same. I will let you know if there are any changes, but basically they'll be the same from start. Alright, so let's begin. So what are data types, okay, and what is the print function in Python? Now to begin with, print function, there is no way we're dealing with any software without data. Anything is manipulated by data. So data type simply means the type of data, okay, and how Python handles its data. Okay, so these are the four types of data we'll be dealing with, and we have the int, meaning the integer. We have the string, or basically it's str, which is the string, meaning any character or any alphabet or any word, any sentence. So anything dealing with alphabet is basically a string, str, and anything dealing with numbers is an int, and anything dealing with true or false, okay, either it's true or false, 0 and a 1, it is a bool, and anything dealing with decimal numbers is a float. Okay, so these are the four types of data we'll encounter during our programming. So just understand them, four types of data. Now if it is a decimal number, it is a float, or if it is a fractional number, any fraction number is basically a decimal number, so it's also a float. Okay, so these are the four basic data types we have in Python, and each and every one of these data types has a way of being revealed in Python. Alright, so they are not just typed the same way, each one has a way of being used, revealed, or manipulated in Python. So let's understand why we're using the print function in the first place, because there are two types of applications. We have an application that deals with GUI, clicking like this, where we just clicking things, we can navigate through by the mouse, and we have graphics maybe all over. So that is basically GUI. And there's another application which is a console application, which is command prompt. In Linux is terminal, and in Mac OS I think it's also terminal. So CMD. So this command prompt in Windows. So this is what is called console. Okay, so any application that runs through command prompt is simply a console application. Now you might need applications like this basic type application, network scanning application, and all other stuff. So they are needed in console. Okay, so if you want to show something to the user in console, just imagine we're developing an application that after opening command prompt to tell you Microsoft Windows and all these things. All right, so the function in Python we have to use is called the print function. So the print function is a built-in function. So let's jump on how to write it. So we type print, and we bring an open and a close bracket. Okay, so anything within the open and the close bracket is what will be displayed inside the command prompt. But most of this IDE, like PyCharm, the one I'm using, and maybe the other likes, Sublime Text and Visual Studio, some of them ends up not opening the command prompt, so they will display the results in its own dialog. There'll be a little dialog down here which you will see the display, but basically it is the same applying to the command prompt. So if yours is opening in command prompt, no problem with that. Okay, so this is just the basic, that if you want to print something in Python, you have to use the print function. So type print and bring an open and a close bracket. Without the open and the close bracket, the print function will not work. You realize there's a highlight, so we have to bring the open and the close bracket. So this is how the print function works. So anything within the print function will be displayed to the user. So if I run this code, click on run, and select the file which I'm running, I'm typing in, right, there is eventually nothing being displayed, meaning there is nothing in the print function. So if I want to show something to the user, a data within this listed data types, there is a way of writing them in the print function. Okay, so I want to display an integer. An integer goes by writing them just as they are. So I want to display 1 2 3 4 5 to the user, and I run the code. So I can run it here. Since I've already run the code, it has been brought here for me, or I can use shift and F10. So that's what I'll be using throughout the code. So I have the display here 1 2 3 4 5. So this is how to display an integer or work with an integer in Python. So we can use multiple print statements in our code. So I want to say print, I want to display a decimal number which is a floating value, 23 point blah 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 blah, and I run my code, shift and F10, I have it here. Okay, so the more print statements you use, the more displays you have. I want to display a bool value, be it a true or a false, so print true. Okay, so true. So if I run this one, I have true here. Alright, and I want to display a last one, a string, and this is so different. So print, if I type will you marry me? Okay, I'm not actually asking you this question. So if you say will you marry me and you run the code, there will be an error. But with all the others, we type them 1 2 3 4 5 decimal and everything works the same. But a string value works different. So meaning in string, you don't just need to type everything just as it is. You have to bring what is called quotation mark. So you can use this quotation. So you have to bring an open and a close quotation. Okay, so this is it, a quotation mark, and you bring another one here. So it can use two different quotation, either a single quotation mark or double quotation marks. So you can say print, and we bring a double one, will you marry me? Okay, so an open and a close one. Alright, but there are two, so we can either use a single quotation mark or the double quotation mark, but there is one at the beginning and there is one at the end of your string. Alright, you don't need to be bringing them individual. So the beginning of your string and the end of your string, you display them there, but all of them has to be in the bracket of the print statement. So if I run this code, I have will you marry me, will you marry me, but it's advisable to use only one quotation mark. So, or you can use both of them, but don't be mixing them so you don't end up getting confused. Alright, so this is the basic thing we need to know. This is how our print function works and how it displays each and every data type we have. So if you want to display an integer, just type it. If you want to display a floating value, just type it. If you want to display a bool value, just write it as it is. But if you want to display a string, you need to bring quotation marks, either a single quotation mark or a double quotation mark. But throughout this tutorial, we'll be using a single quotation mark. Okay, so this is how the print function works if you want to reveal something to the user via CMD. Okay, so this is how it works. CMD means command prompt. So these are the individual data types you have, but the next thing is, how can we know whether this is indeed an integer, this is indeed a decimal, this is indeed a bool, and this is indeed a string? Okay, so we use the built-in class called the type. Okay, the type. So the type is what will reveal to us which type of data do we have. Now I said earlier, so this is a type, and we open and close the bracket. But let's see. So I type 1 2 3 4 5. I want us to check something first, and so I said what type of data is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and let me run the code and see. Now there is no display. It only shows us what we've printed already. These ones are still being printed, but it doesn't show us the type of data. That's why I said anything you want to show to the user should be in what the print function or the print statement. So bring print and open and close your own bracket. So the open and the close bracket for the print is different from the open and the close bracket for the type. Okay, so there is a open and close bracket for print, and there's another one for the type. So I want to print the type of 23 points, and I want to print the type of true or false, any of them, and I want to print the type of will you marry me? Okay, so what we want to achieve is we want to know, so the type will reveal which class is that, which data are we dealing with, which data is this, an integer, is this what, is this that, is this that. So that is how it works. So this is the use of the type. So if we run the code, you see that on top, let me stretch this one for you. So on top of the code, we have our basic displays, which is this one. So all these ones have been displayed, and after each and every type has been displayed. So the first one, it says is an integer. Now it is not running this one, it's running this one. So let me close all these. Let me rerun the code for you. Okay, so rerun the code. This is it. So it is only printing the types. Okay, so it says the first one is an integer, it's a class integer, it's in the integer class, so the type of data is an integer. The second one is a float because it's a decimal number. The third one is a bool because it's true or false, and the fourth one is str, which I said string, because it is an alphabet or a word or groups of words or sentences or anything like that. So this is how to check what type of data it is, and this is how to basically deal with a print statement. You're checking your data types and which data type you're manipulating with. So thanks for watching, and watch out for the other tutorials. And if you are interested in more videos, just subscribe so you can hit that bell and get updates on new videos available. Thank you for watching.